Hey guys, it's Melissa from Lean Labs, and today I'm going to talk to you about repurposing a video asset. So as I explain more in the post that corresponds with this video, when you are repurposing an asset, you're going to first start with probably a pretty long video. The video that I'm going to be using today is a video that our head of inbound, Ryan Scott, made already, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through the beginnings of repurposing this video for YouTube. So I'm using iMovie. A lot of other film editing software is going to be similar. So even if you don't have iMovie, you'll probably get value out of this. There's Final Cut Pro. I know there's a few other ones out there, but I just have iMovie on my computer right now. So the first thing I'm going to do is import the media. Okay, and here it is, what the best lead generation sites have in common. So I'm just going to click that, import selected, and that's going to pop up right there on iMovie. So let me preface this by saying that I already have the assets split apart, but I really want to show you how to be able to slice and dice video. So I'm going to take this. Actually, I prefer to have it a little bit more zoomed in. It's just easier to see the entire file. The first thing I want to talk about is when you have a video file, and I'm going to pretend like you don't have any screenshots in the video already. I'm going to pretend that you don't have any titles. This particular video file already has like an opener, which is this.
Today's video.
Here it is. Pretty flashy, Brandvius, that's our parent brand. So when you put a video file in here, you're gonna ask probably, how do I add a fancy title like this? And you don't see it in the file because this is already the video file, it's already been made. If you have a graphic designer or someone that's like really just like can work on creating something like this for you, you can get them to create that kind of opener on your behalf, and they can convert it. It can be a .mov file or probably a .mp4 file. It can probably be either one of those things, and then you can get it from them and you'll be able to drop it in this video. And then once you have it, you'll find the right place like where you want to insert it. So in this case, Ryan asks a really good opening question, and we have the opener right after he asks that question. So let's listen to that really quickly. Let me turn up the audio on my computer.
What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common? We're going to talk about that on today's video.
I really like that opener because it just feels natural. He's telling you what the video is about, and he's like, this is what we're going to talk about, and then it cuts right into Brandvius, again, which is our parent brand. So for your brand, if you create a similar name that you want all of your videos to fall under, HubSpot just does HubSpot. For us, obviously, we have a different name. Whatever you want, once you have that opener, you can use it in all the videos that you create. And what that's going to do is it's going to create that brand consistency, and people are going to start associating you with that brand. So that's why we've got this opener here. To actually put the opener in, what you're going to do is you're going to find the place that you want to put it. So let's do this again really quick.
What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common? We're going to talk about that on today's video.
Okay, so it's going to be about right there. So I'm using a Mac right now. I just click Control and then click my cursor and hit split clip. And as you can see, the clip is separated. The other really helpful thing too is you can split audio from this. So let's say you recorded the opener before and for some reason it's just not sounding the way that you want it to. You have to re-record it. And sometimes this isn't going to work if like right now Ryan is like speaking. If you do a new audio, it's just going to look off. Like it's going to look different, from his mouth. You'll tell that it's pre-recorded or it's re-recorded. But when you're doing like a screen share or something like I'm doing right now, if I messed up, I could go back and replace the audio and you would never know. I mean, for all you know, I already did that. So I'm going to go ahead and click Control again, click on this, and just click Detach Audio. And the other really helpful thing too is if I wanted to add like ambient noise to the background, sound effects, if I wanted to do music, anything like that, I could add those tracks under here as well, and they'll just go right on top of what he's saying. So all of those things are really helpful to know. I'm actually going to go back to another file that I already split these things up in, so I'm just going to save this really quick. Okay, and we're going to click on this. All right, so as you can see, I have like the brand via stuff already split out. So I have it in there, and let's talk next about adding additional content into this video. So I've got this long video of Ryan, it's about 20 minutes, it's really great content, but there's one part of the video that he's using specific examples. And really to help the viewer get it, to drive the point home, I want these examples to be on screen. Now what Ryan did is he did a screen recording. It looks like, as you can see his mouse moving around. He did a screen recording and put it in here. Screen recordings are fairly simple. I'm actually using one right now on this computer. Basically you use QuickTime Player. I don't want to click on it because I'm afraid it's going to end my video right now. But if you have QuickTime on your computer, you can bring it up and then go to the menu and click screen recording, and it will record audio and it will record the video. So you'll be able to bring something up on your screen. Like for this, he's using Wealthfront as an example. And as you can see, I have it on my computer too, right here. So I can just go through this and I can talk to you about it and discuss all the points just like Ryan did. And then I can take that clip, save it. All I have to do is like click a button. QuickTime will automatically give you the option to save the video. You save it, and then you'll be able to drop it right into this video, just like I did with the title at the beginning. I get to the point where I'm about to give the example. Here we go. And I just click Control, split clip, and I can drop that right in there. If you don't want to do a screen recording, the other option that you could do is you could do a screenshot. There's a ton of tools that you can use for screenshots. I just do like the Command-Shift-3, and then I can just go to my Finder, grab it on desktop, and then I'm just going to grab the screenshot here, new from clipboard. Yeah, it'll bring this up, and I'm just going to screenshot one. Very original, Melissa. Go here, go back to iMovie, drop this in. I have the screenshot here. I can grab this and I'm going to place it right here. So it really bothers me, and if you're not using iMovie, this might not be an issue. When you drop in an image, the auto go-to format is this annoying thing called Ken Burns, and Ken Burns looks like this. It slowly zooms in, which I don't want. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to go up here, click on cropping, and you see Ken Burns is selected. I'm just going to say fit. So what that is going to change is when I go here and click on this, it's not going to zoom in. I don't want it to zoom in. So that's perfect. But again, what Ryan did was he just did a screen share, but you could also do a screenshot, and then you're like, hey, but there's nothing, there's no audio. If he is already walking through it, basically you can detach the audio here again. So let's go back here really quick. Okay, so let's say that the clip ended there. I would just put this here, and then let's say this was just him talking and not a screen share. What I would do is I would just detach the audio, and then I would take the audio and start it at the right place and then listen.
For example, you can see, let's go to this page here, you can see that.
Yeah, so and then I can make it longer, obviously, too.
For example, you can see, let's go to this page here, you can see that, in a well thought out way, everybody's going to go in a very particular method. They're going to come to the homepage, they're going to sign up.
So he's talking about the homepage, and you can take other screenshots and put them in here, but as you can see, the easier thing to do is just to have the screen recording, but you can do either one. So let's get rid of that really quick. I'm going to just go back to have this the way that it works. Okay, so that's the other part. There's a lot of ways to put examples in your videos. There's a lot of ways to make them stand out. I definitely recommend having either a screen share or a screenshot if you're going to be talking about something that you can show on screen. Also, I definitely recommend having that opener to any video, just so people just so you've got some branding to your video assets. If you don't have like a graphic designer in-house, I know you can go on Upwork and you can hire someone to do it for probably a couple $100 and still have something that looks really good, and it's definitely worth the investment. So basically, for us, that's all this YouTube video has. We've got the titles, we've got the examples right there, and then I'm going to go to the very end. He put a lot of examples in this video, which is fantastic. We have the closer. So it's just basically the same thing as the opener, but it's just like bookends, to the video, and it's almost like the ending credits to any movie or anything you've seen. And if you go on YouTube, you could find a ton of examples of these. Basically anyone who has a YouTube channel who's been doing this for a while is going to have a similar opener closer. So there's a lot of examples that you can find. Okay, so let's say this is my video, and I'm like, cool, I'm done. This is my video, signed, sealed, delivered. Like I want to go through with this. In iMovie, I'm just going to go and select all. I just hit Command A, but you can also go to File, and it'll say, or no, edit, and then say like select all. You can do that too. And then I'm gonna do this, share, file, and it'll say Ryan video, make sure it says video and audio. I can, this one won't let me do a higher resolution, probably just because it's a different file, but I can like say I want to do best or high. So basically this is going to save my material, and then I'm going to do next. Let me save it to my desktop, why not? This one is, so this one is too long, so click add to this computer, and then this little thing is going to start thinking about exporting this file. Just for the sake of time, this could take a while. I'm not going to have you sit here as I do this, so I'm just going to say, kind of like they do on cooking shows where you put it in the oven and suddenly it's done. I'm going to put it in the oven, and then suddenly it's done. I can go to my desktop and find it, and there it is, my video. Sorry for the screen grab, Ryan. I've got my video, so now I'm going to go ahead and upload my video to YouTube. So this is my personal channel for my blog. Just for the sake of this, I'm going to go ahead and upload the video here. Select files to upload. I got it. Click. Something very quickly while this is like uploading, something I want to address is when you use video editing software, and if you're using a laptop, sometimes your laptop gets really hot. That happens to me a lot because I have an older, MacBook Pro, and I haven't gotten a new one yet. So I actually installed this thing on my computer. It's like an automatic fan. It tells me how hot my computer's getting. It also helps cool my computer down. There's a lot of plugins that you can add, like things that you can download to get that for your computer. I'd recommend it. Also, while you are working with video, I would close out any unnecessary windows. Like I've got Slack on my computer. I close that when I'm working on video editing. Otherwise, sometimes your computer can overheat. iMovie could crash. You could lose your work. So I would definitely recommend closing all other applications, or if you have a newer computer, that might not be a problem, and just making sure that your computer doesn't overheat. So that's just a pro tip. So this is going to process, and while this continues to process, I want to talk about a few of these things here. You'll see you've got the place to put the title, which we already have a really great title, and there's also a place to put a description. This is not the time, I'm going to write this too, this is not the time to just think of any description to fill out this box. The description is actually really important. It's important for SEO, but it's also really important because the person that comes to watch your video is going to read this, and they're going to judge whether or not to watch your video. They might read through it and say, that description sucks. I don't want to watch this video. Like, think about any time you've gone to look at a YouTube video. You might start watching it, or you might just read the description and say, that doesn't really sound that good. So you want to definitely make sure that you are investing time in writing out a better description, writing out a great title, and filling out these tags. Again, this is not a time to just think of any tags. Like, this is a little strategic. So you don't want to just type whatever. You want to make sure that you're putting a lot of thought into what you're tagging your video as, because this is what is going to tell YouTube, like, hey, this is what this video is about. It's going to do that. It's going to help people find your videos. So you want to be really strategic about this area. even though it seems like such a small, insignificant part of it, you definitely don't want to sleep on this. And if you started your video strategy the right way, you will probably have all of this already. I just pulled up an example of a video brief that you can use. This is what you want, basically. You want a plan for each of these little, like, video assets. You want some kind of plan of how long they're going to be, the title, the description. You want links to all of the creative. You want a plan for the tags and the blog link. What this does, first, it really helps the person that's going to be uploading the video. They can just check the brief and go back and they can fill all that information in. It also keeps your entire team on the same page. They can go back and review all this content. They can go back and forth, make recommendations and edits and stuff. So it really helps align everybody. But don't confuse a video brief with an outline. For all of our blog content, video content, we create outlines. We actually put them in Monday.com. I have an outline and a strategy for this post, for example. I've got all the information I need. I've got our persona, I've got our keyword, I've got the entire outline for the post. So you really want to have that organization before you start your video, because otherwise you're going to start creating videos and creating content, and you're not going to have a plan, or you're not going to have a strategy, and it's just going to put you behind. So if you're going to invest in doing video and repurposing it, it's definitely worth investing in having that upfront brief to really help keep your entire team on the same page. Now we are back to YouTube and our processing is done. So let's go ahead and actually I'm going to set this so you can set the privacy of this. Obviously, I'm just going to put private. You don't want to make your videos private, but since this is just an example, I'm going to set it to private. Since this video is already online, go ahead and click done. And the video is ready, but that doesn't mean that you're done. You have to go back, and you have to upload a thumbnail. Again, having a link to this creative in the brief is really important. It helps keep your entire team on the same page. Ryan already uploaded this video, and there is already a thumbnail for it. And as you can see, he also has the description. He's got like a link to the original blog post and all of this stuff. So this is one of Ryan's other videos right here, the 4 elements of persuasive marketing. And as you can see, there's a thumbnail right there. So anytime you see all these like, music videos and stuff like that, there's a thumbnail. Some of them don't have a thumbnail, and you can tell just by skimming through them, but then some of them do, including Ryan. So having that thumbnail is important. Again, you can get that creative from your graphic designer. You can order it on Fiverr. You can get it on Upwork. There's so many places to do it. The one thing that I would recommend is making all of those thumbnails really consistent. Obviously with Brand VS, there's a thing for the color purple, and when you see this, it's purple, so that's a conscious decision that we made, and you want to put the same thought into your thumbnails, and you don't have to. You can put a thumbnail in front of like your movie file in iMovie, but you can also just upload it separately. Okay, so here's the other thing. If you don't have a graphic designer or you're on a small marketing team or something, you can also use Canva. You can upgrade, but it's a free service, and they have all these preloaded templates. You can go ahead and click on YouTube thumbnail after you create an account. And you can honestly like pick from a lot of these things, and they even break them up into really helpful sections like travel thumbnail, beauty thumbnail. You want to be original, but if you're kind of in a spot where you just really need to start getting these done, and you want to just create something that you can use over and over again, like let's say that I'm just going to choose this one for now, I can go in here and make edits, go back to my video brief and say, okay, here's my title, click on this. I'm not a graphic designer, so if this turns out terrible, like don't blame me, please. This is why I don't create YouTube thumbnails. But yeah, here we go. I could just do that really quickly. Obviously, I'm not going to use this fitness model, but I just could, go. They've got a lot of free stock photos, and just say, like, let's see, websites. Yeah, so this is free. Just pop that in here. Actually, I'll just have to delete that. It's pretty easy. Like for someone who isn't a graphic designer, like consider how easy this is. Move it backward, move it backward, move it backward. And look, I've pretty much Can move this here. It's not beautiful and it's not, you know, probably what we want, but if you just needed to do something really quickly, that is an option. I could even get that purple in there, right there too. Move this a little bit and it's fine. You know, if you just need something really quick, you could just use something like Canva just to start out with, and then eventually, you know, you just hire someone to do it for you. All you have to do is you just go download it. And just to show you how easy it is, I'm going to go ahead and upload this to my private video. Here we go, custom thumbnail. Go to my downloads. There it is. Yep, it was that easy. It took me like 30 seconds to do. So there really isn't an excuse not to upload a thumbnail. I literally created that in like less than 30 seconds. Go ahead and click on Save Changes. And there you go. Yeah, popped up right there and it looks pretty decent. So when you're creating YouTube videos, the last couple comments I'll make is preparation is really important. It's important to be flexible. Really getting into your editing platform like iMovie and really learning the you know, all the like kind of like kinks of it are important too. And just knowing what tools are out there. You know, Canva is a really helpful tool. You know, if you want to add captions or if you want to add a transcription, like knowing the transcription services also are really helpful and just getting you a step ahead. The whole goal is to make it as easy as possible and to get the best possible version of a YouTube video up and having the strategy behind it so you always have a plan for title, description, tags, and all of that. So the first type of like Instagram video you could do is just like a regular video that comes up in your feed. So I'm gonna start by showing you this file. It's the same file that I was using before, and as you can see, it kind of looks like Swiss cheese. It's chopped up a little bit, and the reason that it's chopped up is because I went in and found certain sound clips that I thought could stand on their own. And by stand on their own, I mean if you remove it from the context of this 20-minute video, it still makes sense to the person watching it and it doesn't feel cut off. This is where planning ahead for this kind of thing is really going to help you. If you know that you need a couple of sound clips for Instagram, when you're shooting a video, you're going to make sure that you give a lot of space before you say whatever it is you need to say and after. You're going to be much more articulate. You're going to make sure your thoughts sound complete. You're going to make sure that you say every single thing that you want to say. All of that is really important. For this video, Ryan didn't do that. And I would assume if you're watching this video, you haven't been doing that either. So we're going to talk about what it looks like to work with a video that you already have and still making it sound consistent and still being able to use it for Instagram. So like I mentioned, the video has to be under a minute if you're using regular Instagram. Instagram stories are different. Those can be like up to an hour. I could literally take that entire video that I just put on YouTube and upload it to Instagram TV if I really wanted to do that. So this is just for regular Instagram though. So I'm going to go in and find a clip. The first clip that I really like is the first couple of seconds where Ryan says,
"What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common?" We're going to talk about that on today's video.
So that's great. The only thing is we're not going to talk about it on today's video because the video is only going to be a minute long. So what Ryan says is really good, but I don't really need that section at the end. So I'm going to go back.
What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common?
All right. I'm going to cut it here. Get rid of that. And now that clip is going to stand in its own. So as you're hearing Ryan say it, it does sound like a question. So when I add more audio to it, it might sound a little abrupt. And that's why it's important to plan if you want to spin off Instagram videos from your larger video files, you really have to plan for it to go perfectly. So let's take a look at the next part of this 1-minute video that I'm going to do. Skipped over all of this.
When it comes to having an effective website, it has nothing to do with the pretty graphics. Pretty graphics are good for brand experience and all of that. But when it comes to performance, there is one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have.
Okay, so when I get rid of that big chunk, I'm gonna let this play out, and we're just gonna see how it sounds.
What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common? When it comes to having an effective website, it has nothing to do with the pretty graphics. The pretty graphics are good for brand experience and all of that. But when it comes to performance, there is one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have, and that's what I want to talk about with you today.
Stop again. So these little transitions that work really well in long videos, like this is what we're going to talk about today, this is what we're going to talk about in this video, they're great for longer videos, but when you only have a minute, you're not going to add things like that. So as you are going in and editing your video down to Instagram, you're going to want to cut out all of those types of phrases. And thankfully, Ryan's a very articulate speaker on video. I personally talk really fast on videos, so sometimes it's difficult for me to edit my own videos. But in this case, he's speaking so articulately. There's evidence right there. He's speaking so clearly. It's really easy for me to kind of slice and dice up what he's saying. So that part I'm going to get rid of as well. And it leads right into...
and that just quite and simply...
Yep, another kind of fluffy thing. So we're going to get rid of that. It's only 1 second, but that's 1 second you don't want to lose. I'm going to delete that.
The best lead generation websites have an incredible buyer journey experience throughout every single one of their pages.
There it is. That is the question. That is the answer. And we're only at 28 seconds. So we still have 30 seconds to fill. To save us some time, I'm just going to really quickly edit this down and add a few other little clips to make it exactly 1 minute. So here's what happens though. You could get a really good chunk of information and still be like, I've got 16 seconds that I need to kill. So all of those little tiny extra size and breaths and all of that stuff, it needs to get trimmed out. And that's why it's so critical to plan for this ahead of time. So let's look at this video with Ryan again.
What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common? The best lead generation websites have an incredible buyer journey experience throughout every single one of their pages.
So that's great. He asks the question, he answers the question. But listen to this next part.
And this is what a lot of people overlook when they're dealing with their website design. One of the things that they do is they want pretty graphics. They want something that looks nice, that represents their brand from a feeling perspective, regardless of how pretty it is. If it can't perform.
Okay, so in context, it would be better if that little clip was there, but it's also 15.5 seconds. It talks about, this is a mistake that a lot of people make, and all that's fine. But if we're just making a quick video talking about posing the question, what do the best lead generation websites have in common, and we just answer it, it's having that buyer journey experience. We don't necessarily need all that context, like, hey, a lot of people make this mistake, because we literally only have a minute to talk about this. So it turns into this.
The best lead generation websites have an incredible buyer journey experience throughout every single one of their pages. Regardless of how pretty it is, if it can't perform well, then it's really kind of doesn't benefit the brand at all. And so...
So right there, okay, we are at 1.01 seconds. I've got a really decent flow of just a narrative flowing through here, but I've got 2 seconds of this. And so I'm not picking on Ryan, but we all do this. It's very normal. It's a normal speech pattern. I guarantee you could go through all my video footage and find a ton of that. But when you're doing video and you're splitting up an asset, those types of things have to go. And right there, we're at 59 seconds, and we've got a clip for Instagram. So I went ahead and exported the Ryan Instagram video, and basically how I get it on Instagram is I can just airdrop it. I'll have to actually go to airdrop lies. And it'll be like, hey, airdrop lets you share with people nearby. And that's me, even though it says Richard. That is me. So I'm going to grab that in my Finder window, Ryan Instagram. Just going to drop it in there, and I'll just get it right on my phone. I'll accept it. That'll be awesome. And then I can just go right ahead and upload that to Instagram. I'll take a quick screenshot to show you what that looks like. So I'll go ahead and get that. That's really easy. Now I see it when I pull up my Instagram and go to click a photo or video. Ryan's video will be there. I can go ahead. I'll have to trim it to be shorter than 60 seconds. It'll tell me that anyway, even though it is under 60 seconds. And then I'm like, cool, did it. And then I can pick a filter if I want to. And then I'll have to fill out a description and caption. This is another area where you want to make sure you have something prepared so you don't just write Ryan with an exclamation point as your description. You want to make sure you have something written out. You want to use hashtags. You really want to make the use of that space. And then your video will be done and posted on Instagram. And everyone who follows me has seen a bunch of weird stories and pictures of Ryan today, so they're wondering what's going on. But as you can see, it's really not hard to do. But then there's other videos you can do too. In addition to like a feed video, you could also do an Instagram story. Here's an example of a brand using an Instagram story really well. This is Bully for you. They're like, vintage furniture, a vintage furniture store out in Washington that I follow. Go ahead and click on their story. And they've got a lot of just really cool little clips of people using their furniture. They put updates about their open and close hours. They have this fun little GIF of Bill Nye the Science Guy. They give updates about when products are sold. So for this company, they found a way to make Instagram stories work, and it's not just like engaging somebody watching the videos. It's giving really relevant product updates. It's giving really important context to the person that's watching it. Me, the person who would want to buy that furniture, I get all sorts of updates. So if you can find a way to leverage that for your brand, this is definitely something that you can do. So first, you could just do like an off-the-cuff story and just promote your blog post. I'm going to give you some examples of like certain little goofy things that you could do with an Instagram story. I could add like a really weird filter, like these weird hearts. I don't know why I'm doing this, but maybe if you found a way to make it work. Or I could like have a really big mouth like I do here. It's weird and kooky and kind of creepy to look at. Or I could add text or a fun little GIF talking about me, Melissa, the author of this post, and the creator of this video. Or a location, or I can mention someone. So there's a lot that you can do. So the idea with that would be that you'd basically like do an Instagram live, like don't have it pre-recorded, get on your phone, look at it and say, hey, like we're gonna talk about, and then just like go off the script of the video that you already created and just share something really quick. That's one way you could do it. Or you could take the asset that you already have, which for us is like that really nifty 1-minute Instagram video that we already created, and we could turn that into an Instagram story. Let's talk about how I took Ryan's video and turned it into a very quick Instagram story.
What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common?
So here's what happened here. I took that same file, and instead of going to like an Instagram post, I went to Instagram stories. I took the entire 1-minute file and said, yeah, I will make a story out of this. And Instagram immediately broke it up into 15-second increments. And then I took the clips and basically like for each one, I had like a fun title. I put some fun little GIFs in there, just some main points that Ryan's saying. It made them much more visual. The only thing is that you really do have to think about this when you're doing like your brief or you're doing your storyboard. Really, if you really want to do the Instagram story thing right, make sure that you've got like the perfect amount of like 15-second increments, so you don't have like a very awkward cutoff. It's a little abrupt, but not the end of the world. So yeah, it cuts off a little bit, but not a huge deal. Hey, we're going to talk about Facebook video now. And I wanted to show you a video first from ClassPass, their website basically that you can go and get a subscription, and it lets you drop into classes all over your city, different types of classes like yoga or cycling or jiu-jitsu or whatever it is that you're interested in. So they have a lot of really great Facebook videos. I follow them on Facebook. So if you watch a little bit of it, it's not really a long video, but it's really visual. There's a lot of really good context about the class that we're watching. It tags the location of the class actually as well. So if you live in New York and you see this and you're thinking about getting ClassPass, you're like, yeah, absolutely, this could be something really cool for me. And that's really the key to videos on Facebook. You want to provide value, you want to provide information, but you also want it to be like visually enjoyable to watch, and you also want to be able to listen to it as well. So we have this video from Ryan. It's from the initial YouTube video, obviously, that I showed you in the first part of this video. And basically I went in and clipped out another section. It's about 3 minutes long. It provides like a really quick walkthrough of like a buyer journey website, what that looks like, and Ryan concludes it very succinctly, and it's about 3 minutes and 9 seconds. So I've decided this is the video that I want to put on Facebook. Alternatively, I could get a much shorter clip, like something that's more like 30 seconds, and make a video that's similar to ClassPass. The key is really that planning ahead of time and knowing how you want to split up a video asset. Because otherwise you're going to be digging through your video looking for clips, and sometimes they can start and stop a little bit awkwardly. You're not going to say everything that you want to say in the video. So that would be my advice for that. The second option is to, and I can't say that I recommend this too much, but if you have no other choice, if you really need to do video and you're thinking of, if you're thinking of an idea, what you could do, and I'm on my personal blog page, is you could grab some video stock footage. I actually made a video with stock footage about Paris because I didn't have video. And I just got all of this stock footage. I got all of this stock footage from the internet. This was a video, right here, there's like a video that I shot on my phone, which was cool, of this jazz club in Paris, but then I went and kind of filled in the rest of the video with stock video, which I think it turned out fine. I'm mostly trying to draw attention to the quote that I put in for like my own like Drifty Guide to Paris. Like that's really what I was trying to do. But if you can, it'd be great just to use your own footage. So that's also an option that you have. The other important thing for Facebook video is having the words on the video, because, and I'll show you really quickly. Here's a great video from Bon Appetit, but the thing is, like it's automatically on mute. So if you don't have these titles to really help whoever's watching it move along in it, you're going to risk them not really understanding what you're talking about because there's no text. And a lot of people that are on the Facebook newsfeed, they could be at work, they could be on their phone, and they just don't want to turn the volume on. So you should really focus on having text in your videos so it's really obvious what you're talking about. This is obviously a recipe. They're talking us through it without giving us too much dialogue and basically just giving us instructions. And if I wanted to, I could listen to it. And they don't even really have anyone talking. They just have some jingle in the background. So what that looks like in iMovie is you're just going to go to titles, and they have a lot of different options for titles. It's best to choose something that's going to be static, which means it stays still and it's not just going to, like, some of these move around. And you want to find something like this standard lower third that's just going to hang out at the bottom of the screen. So you would just come in here and you would, type whatever this is about. If you didn't work off a script, or if whomever was shooting the video, whoever's in the video, kind of went off script, you're going to have to get a transcription. First, it's important to have a transcription because when you create a blog post for this video, if you ever do, it just saves you time. You can just drop the transcription right in there. The other thing too is that sometimes when you upload video to Facebook, there is that option to subtitle it, so people can click on the closed captioning and they can get subtitles for it, but it doesn't always pick up the words the right way, so you'll just get a jumbled mess of things that the person's not actually saying. So in my opinion, it's best to if you're repurposing a video for Facebook, just put in the text yourself. So if you don't have a script, you can use a service like Trint. And what Trint is, it basically you drop the file of a video in and it will transcribe this for you. I did it with a video that I made for LinkedIn and it was so easy to do. I'm on their free trial. Obviously, you'd have to pay membership to get it for all your videos, but definitely worthwhile. And there's other services like this out there. Basically, I dropped the video in, and then it kind of loaded all of the copy. I went in and I cleaned up a couple of things that I just wasn't speaking articulately enough. So it just picked up a couple of things that the service had thought that I said that I didn't really say, cleaned it up, and then I have this nice clean transcription that I can use in a blog post, or I can just take piece by piece and run it at the bottom of this screen. The other thing too that you could do is you could make a shorter 30-second video and not have the audio like Bon Appetit did right here. But then you could just have like the large text running across the screen to make a point. You know, you could lead them to a blog post. Like this actually leads to the actual recipe. So it's just like some bait to put out there on Facebook to get the person to actually come back to the website. So with Facebook, there's a lot of different things that you can do. For my video, for the purpose of this video, I just split it up into a 3-minute video. I'm not going to add text on it right now, but I would recommend adding text to any Facebook video that you put up there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to upload a video. So this is my personal blog Facebook page. So you'll have your own, obviously, that you're going to go ahead and upload a video on. You obviously want to have all the company page information filled out and everything if you're just starting out with Facebook. Just want to make sure that you're getting the most from that channel. So I'm going to go ahead and click Add Video, and you can see I already posted a bunch of videos already. I'm going to go ahead and grab this. It's going to think for a minute, and then this window is going to come up. And again, having all of this pre-decided, like the title, the description of the video, the tags, like having all of that in advance is really important. Otherwise, it's like, hey, create a video, and then whoever creates it is going to be responsible for thinking of your title and thinking of the description and thinking of tags. And if this is a part of your greater marketing strategy, you want to make sure that you are the one making those decisions, or at least your team's talked about it and you understand really what you're trying to do. So I've gone ahead and I filled in the title, the description, some tags, and obviously this is a terrible title and a terrible description, which is why you need to think about these things in advance. So I'm going to go ahead and click Next. And then Facebook is going to guide you through all of these steps, what you need to do before you publish. You know, you have to make sure it's at least 3 minutes long, which I disagree with, because obviously there are some brands like Bon Appetit who have shorter, quicker videos, and I'm sure you've seen Facebook pages that have 20 or 30-second videos. The other thing to consider with those is that they also have a lot of followers, so they're really not trying to spread brand awareness because they already have it. But if you're a newer brand or a newer company, you're not potentially going to have an audience that big on Facebook. So it's just something to think about when you're putting together your video strategy. You want to go ahead and make sure that there's description tags, etc., etc. You can also go into this and schedule the video to go live for another date. You can publish it now. I'm going to save this as draft just because I'm not going to publish it on my page right now. And then you want to click off where you want things to appear, make it available to any other pages you have, which we're not going to do. You can turn off comments, but obviously you want people to engage with it, so you're going to leave that on. So yeah, that's going to upload, and then you can go ahead and you can schedule it out on your Facebook page. So once you start repurposing videos, it's going to be really easy as you move along in the process. First you'll have to work with YouTube, and then you'll have to split up the asset for Instagram. But by the time you start getting to Facebook and LinkedIn, it's going to be really easy as long as you have that kind of plan of attack. Okay, next is my favorite channel for video, which is LinkedIn. I'm going to start and show you this great video from Will Reynolds. He's the founder of Seer Interactive, company in Philadelphia. So I follow him on LinkedIn, and here's a video that he posted that's really good.
Today we're going to talk about things that you're going to let burn. So I was in Vegas 2 weeks ago with the CEO of the company.
And the thing that I really like about this is it's Will's got his own kind of personal thing going on, let something burn, and he presumably is just covering all sorts of things, and just it's really leveraging his personal expertise and his personality and his flair and all of that stuff. So this type of video is really good if you are trying to build up your personal brand. And on LinkedIn right now, you're going to get more engagement from a personal channel like Will's instead of, if they had posted it to the Seer Interactive company page. So if you are in a position, a leadership position, or if you're in marketing and you want to repurpose videos for LinkedIn, you're definitely going to have to think about how you are going to be publishing that on LinkedIn instead of just publishing it to your company channel. Maybe you're also going to publish it on your personal page or what have you, or maybe like personal pages of your employees or whatever you decide to do. So here's a video that I made for LinkedIn. It was a book review of Lost and Founder by Rand Fishkin. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on mute because again, on the LinkedIn newsfeed, like you will have people that will play videos and they'll listen to the audio. Like I just listened to the one by Will Reynolds and really enjoyed it. But then there are videos that, you know, you want to make sure that even if it's on mute, you can pretty much follow along and get the same kind of context from it. And again, it would have been great if I had had text running along the screen, but what I did is I put some personal photos into this video because what I'm talking about in the video is basically like my career and how in the beginning of my marketing career, I read a lot of stuff that Rand Fishkin wrote about. I was involved in SEO, so like reading this book was really beneficial to me because I had pretty much followed his whole career. So it was like a nice like personal lead into the video, but it would have made it 10 times better if I had had text running across the screen and explaining what I was talking about instead of just having all of these like out of context images of Rand. Like if you're just like watching this, you don't really know what I'm talking about if that mute button is on or if someone's just not in a place where they can listen to audio. So on my part, that was a missed opportunity. On your part, you don't have to make the same mistake. So again, we're going to hop back into the editor and we are going to take about a 3 to 4 minute clip to make our LinkedIn video. And something that you might be asking, because you probably just watched the part of this overall video where I talked about Facebook, you're probably asking, well, can't I just take the same exact Facebook video that I just made and upload that same thing to LinkedIn? And the answer is, yeah, you could do that because you're going to find that a lot of the best practices are similar. You're going to want to have the text on the screen. You're going to want to pick a really enticing clip. You know, depending on what you're talking about, you would want the video to be, you know, 3 minutes, 10 minutes. Again, like I wouldn't judge it by, I want to make a 3-minute video. I would judge it by, this is what I am talking about in this video, and this is how long it takes to talk about this. So that really depends on the subject matter of your video. Best practices have their time and place, but you don't always have to say, you know, to put a video on LinkedIn, it's got to only be around 3 minutes long. You know, a lot of stats will tell you that those videos are more engaging, they'll get, you know, more views and stuff, and I would just say to experiment on LinkedIn and see what works for you, and that's really the best thing to do. So again, could you take the same video that you put on Facebook and just put it on LinkedIn? Yeah, you could, because what I'm going to tell you to do is I'm going to tell you again to natively upload the video to the LinkedIn channel. So what that means is like this video is only on LinkedIn. I haven't uploaded it to YouTube because I just uploaded it to the platform. And when you compare it with Will from the beginning, the first video that I put as an example, his was obviously a YouTube video. So he linked the YouTube video into his post. Which one is better? Again, it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're trying to get more engagement on LinkedIn, go ahead and embed the video right on LinkedIn. If you want people to go back and subscribe to your YouTube channel and you're trying to build that, go ahead and share the link to YouTube instead. It really just depends on your goals for your videos. So what I'm going to say is for this exercise, I wouldn't put the same video on LinkedIn that I did on Facebook because, you know, it's like bringing out the same appetizer twice. Are you going to bring the same table mozzarella sticks twice in a row? Or are you going to bring the mozzarella sticks and then pot stickers and then like a salad? Like you're giving them something different. You're giving them variety. And if you have some of the same people following you on LinkedIn as Facebook or Twitter or something, you definitely want to give them something a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the big, massive video chunk that I have from Ryan. And what I'm probably going to do for LinkedIn, honestly, is go ahead and find one of these really killer examples that Ryan's talking about and take the same intro and make like a brand new kind of video from that. So for this particular video, it's going to have the same opener as the other videos have had, but just as we move forward, I'm dropping a different example in this section right here. So that's a really easy switch to make. Just cut this out and then take your new clip and drag it right there. One thing that I would recommend that if you are going to keep repurposing assets is to possibly think about doing more than one opener. And this goes back to your strategy when you're first starting to think of making a video and you decide like, hey, I'm going to have something different on LinkedIn, have something different on Facebook, et cetera, et cetera. You potentially say, okay, I'm going to record a couple of intros. So I've got a selection to choose from in the editing room. So if you do have the same followers on these channels, they have a different opening and they won't start watching it and they won't be like, okay, I've already seen this video. You definitely don't want that to be the case. Something you could do for LinkedIn also, you'd cut out the question and just lead into the context of the video, but I like having the question beforehand. So the other thing for LinkedIn too, obviously I said you want to have some text in there so you can use the same transcript that you got for your Facebook video and take the snippet of text that corresponds to this example and drop it in there. You can do that with one of these titles. Again, you want to choose something that's not going to like vibrate or move or dance as someone's trying to read, like just nobody wants to read dancing text, and have that run at the bottom of the screen right there. The other question that I get a lot about LinkedIn from people, just because I've been publishing some of my own like videos and book reviews and stuff on LinkedIn, and a lot of people have reached out and asked questions about it. One question is about whether or not like you should have like a CTA, like a next step at the end of your video, and my answer is going to be, it depends on the topic of the video. I'm sure you could have guessed that was going to be my answer. We've got these really great people on LinkedIn right now. Goldie Chan is one of them, and she's got a channel that she calls the Daily Goldie. She uploads these really kind of casual videos. Obviously, she's doing it right from her phone, and she's just talking to you, and she's like going on and on about whatever it is that she's talking about. And then at the end, it just kind of cuts out. So there's no real next step, but when you go in and read the copy, she is asking you to do something. She's telling you to use the hashtag if you share it. She's asking you to comment. You know, she's asking you a question. So there are things that you can put in your LinkedIn post along with the video that is like, here's what I'm asking from you, the viewer. I would say in this video from Ryan, where we're talking about buyer journey websites, a next step could be our strategy kit, which gives you the same like templates and tools that we use to build website strategies, to build buyer journey websites. That would be an appropriate next step. And if I wanted to, I could get a graphic. Again, I could use a site like Canva, get a graphic, and I could drop that right in here. And it would give the person that next step and tell them exactly what to do or where to go next. And then I could also provide the link right here on the actual LinkedIn post. So that's another reason why planning these things out before you start making the videos is really important. Something that would not be a great idea for LinkedIn is to just start putting videos up without having like kind of a long-term plan. Like obviously before Goldie Chan started doing her videos, she decided she was going to do a video every day. She was going to call it Daily Goldie. She was going to use that hashtag. And what that really helped her do was build up awareness of who she is, what she's trying to do, and almost apply like a mini brand to herself. So I think what she's doing is brilliant. Something else that you could do, another idea for repurposing this video asset is you could basically just do a very casual, like I'm doing it from my phone video. When you're shooting this video, you could very briefly summarize the video very quickly like she does, give a tip about buyer journey websites or something, and then you could also just publish that on LinkedIn as well. Okay, so let's say that you've got the video and you're ready to publish it to your LinkedIn channel. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my video. And again, like having this rewritten is great. I do not have it rewritten. Obviously not what you want. But then this is going to go ahead and upload. You want to add some tags. Go. Gonna upload. And it's really that easy. You're going to upload it, and I'm just going to discard this and not publish it on there. But it's really easy. It'll just come up, and I can show you some of the videos that I've put on LinkedIn and what they look like. Okay, so here's a video that I uploaded. post just like that, and just this is how it appears. Now, if you're like, okay, Melissa, what about ads? I want to do some ads on LinkedIn. First thing you're going to have to do is set up an ad account with LinkedIn and create your campaign. You can do this and kind of just click on what your goals are, and this is important to know before you even start making a video, is what your goals are. You're going to click on that. You're going to go and select an audience, and you can get pretty specific with LinkedIn, which is great. Let's say that mine is marketing professionals. And then you can go ahead and just say like where you want them to be targeted, pick the profile language, pick the job titles, audience attributes and match audiences, and so all this stuff. And basically you're like, I want to make a video ad. And then you are going to say like, yes, I want to enable the LinkedIn audience network, and you're going to go ahead and set your daily budget. So all of those things have to be taken care of if you're doing a video ad, but obviously the most important thing is actually having a video ad. I probably wouldn't do it, but let's say that I wanted to create an ad for LinkedIn from that video. This would be tricky because obviously when Ryan shot this video, he wasn't planning on making a LinkedIn ad with it. So we're going to have to be a little bit creative about how we repurpose this if we want to do a LinkedIn ad. Going back to my goals, this is important. Let's say that the goal that I wanted, and I think it kind of hid this section, website visits is my goal. That means obviously I want to drive them back to my website. So basically I'm going to take this video and say, how am I going to grab snippets of this and get the person to take an action on my website? What I could do is I could start off with the same opener.
What is the one thing that all of the best lead generation websites have in common? We're going to talk about that on today's video.
I could take this same opening and then I could lead into the whole context about the buyer journey website, and that's what the best websites have in common. And then I could say, go back to our website to watch the rest of this video, and I could put up a landing page that would gate it, and they'd have to go through it, and then I would get their information that way, and that would drive website visitors back. I could also drive them to a blog post. So there's a few different options that I could do. I can't say it enough though, if you want to experiment with LinkedIn ads, you definitely have to have that in mind before you even shoot your video, and you have to really understand what context you need to do that, because otherwise you're just taking a snippet of video from something random and trying to just fit it into this format, and that is not ideal. Another thing that you could do if you're just like, well, I have to do that, I want to take this video and I want to make it into an ad, you could always take the clip where Ryan's talking about the buyer journey websites and then end it in one of the same places that we ended it for the Instagram video. So if we return to the Instagram video really quick, remember the 60-second video, I could take this same thing, and then at the end of it, I could say like, book a strategy call with us, and then that's where I could drive the viewer, is to some page where they could book a strategy call. Well, guys, that's it. That's how to repurpose one single video for YouTube, for Facebook, for Instagram, and for LinkedIn. Make sure to follow us for more tips and tricks on Brandvius and Lean Labs.